We're sitting down with Reese from South Africa, and he's going to go over how he was able to get funded and get paid out from our firm.
One thing for me that I would say that's extremely crucial for in terms of my success in this industry would be that I'm not emotionally attached to any of the sports.
What are some steps, or do you have anything in mind of like how you're going to kind of increase maybe account sizes or your bankroll or any of that?
I like to bet against the public. That for me is
I love
what
that.
changed a lot.
A lot of people out there just sports bet for fun. They throw around, just bet on whoever they think. And how were you able to develop a system that actually became profitable? What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Fun Sports Trader interview. We're sitting down with Reese from South Africa, and he's going to go over how he was able to get funded and get paid out from our firm. But first off, thank you so much for sitting down with us. How are you doing today, Reese?
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing really good.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I want to go over the journey on how you got here, bro. You're only 21 years old, was able to, go through the evaluation, pass the account, make it to a payout. Before we even get into that, you want to do a quick intro, where you're from, how old you are, and then also how you got into sports betting.
Okay, so I am 21. I'm from South Africa. So where did it all begin? It began in high school when I was 18. Set up accounts with a bunch of friends at boarding school, and over I'll say almost every weekend we used to all put money together, put it in the accounts, and aim for these long shot bets. I'll be honest, they never hit. They really never hit. But it was all just bands, and it was a way for us to get together and watch games every weekend. And then after high school, kind of forgot about sports betting, although I'm a big soccer fan, so I followed soccer. And then it popped up recently, and I saw someone on Instagram, and I was like, this is pretty crazy. People are doing this for a living,
Hmm.
making huge amounts of money, placing huge bets. And I was like, I'm interested. So I'd say when I got started was around last year, October. And I said, I'm gonna ground this. And for about like a week, 2 weeks, I just went on YouTube and I couldn't stop watching videos. And within those 2 weeks, I built a little small system. And the ideal thing is to potentially test the system that you make over a series of bets. Although after those 2 weeks, I'm like, dude, I've got to just test this out. Let's just see. So I put a
Hmm.
small amount of money in. And over the 2 weeks, I was like, this is working. I know I'm fairly new to this, just created a system. It's working, but let me just hold on a bit. So I bought a proper account, $1,000 that I came across, and I was testing that strategy on there and passed phase one. But during all this time, I was making sure I was journaling everything, and yeah, I passed phase one, passed phase two, and I think it took me about a month and a half to pass phase one and two, and then I got my first payout the start of this year, January. But I
Oh,
must say, from the time of when I first got the challenge to where I am now, a lot has changed in my system, and I think it's changed for the best. I've got two payouts so far, and I'm up, I think, about 5-6% so far on the account.
that's absolutely
But
amazing.
yeah,
Congratulations on your success, bro. That's a great story. I
I
want to
appreciate
ask
it.
you the importance of having a system, because a lot of people out there just sports bet for fun. They throw around, just bet on whoever they think. How important is it like having a system, and how were you able to develop a system that actually became profitable?
So I would say like when I was grinding, I was just hopping from YouTube channel to YouTube channel, just trying to improve my knowledge on this. And then the importance of a system is it's extremely crucial. I feel like if you're just blindly betting, you're not going to make it very far. If you're betting like with your emotions on a team that you support, for example, me, if I bet on Arsenal every single weekend, that's not going to work out.
Yeah.
So you got to have a system that works. And I would say the ideal thing is to test it over, a month, 2 months, 3 months, even up to 6 months to truly see whether that strategy works or not. Even now, even though I haven't been in this industry for too long, but I've been journaling. I made sure I've been journaling over the past 2-3 months now, trying to improve my strategy, trying to improve my system, increase the win rate, and refine my rules. So I feel like it's extremely important to have a system.
That's awesome, bro. What's your, probably like, what do you think is your most profitable sport to bet on?
So since I've been logging, it's definitely got to be college basketball at the moment. I feel like
Mm.
that's every night. So definitely gonna get the most amount of bets through there. NFL season was really good. And I think I placed two bets at the end of MLB last season, and I went 2-0. So I'm excited for this season. I can't wait for that. And so yeah, definitely I'll probably say college basketball purely because it's every night, every
Yeah,
single night.
that's awesome. Do you remember like what maybe bet or what like sports got you past the funded stage? That like when you hit it, you're like, oh, no way, like I'm funded.
I think it was a time where I took was during the NFL season. I can't remember what I took. Can't think of the top of my head. Anyway, there was lopsided action on the one side, and there was one team receiving majority of the bets, and this other team was absolute underdogs. And based on my system, I was like, this could be a fairly close game, and I could take them with the spread, but I'm confident enough to take this team on the money line purely based off their performance against the spread.
Mhm.
And I took them at I think I took them at decimal odds. I think I took them at like 2.8 or something mental, and it hits, and I was like, "Whoa, this is pretty crazy." And yeah, since then it's been good.
That's awesome.
That's when I really was like, "Shit, this is a possibility." Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, yeah, I mean, even having the possibility. What are your thoughts on prop firms and having sports betting prop firms?
I think it's probably one of the best things to do, especially if you're starting out. The ability to get accounts from 1,000 to 100,000. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the max amount you can have is 300,000, which is pretty damn crazy that to even think about having
Yeah.
an account like that.
Mhm.
So I think, if you got a small amount of money, 10, 20, $30, save that money, purchase an account and work with them. I think it's a great way to scale compared to having a personal account. And it's also what's nice about a prop firm is once you pass that, you can start funding your own account,
Yep.
which is what I've been doing. I've been putting money aside and working on my personal account, which is cool.
That's awesome, bro. I want to ask you, what are some key characteristics in a professional sports bettor compared to just someone who does it kind of for fun?
I think a lot of it comes down to two things. I would say you got to have a really good system. Sorry about that. You got to have a really good system, and you got to be extremely disciplined. And something I've been doing almost every week. I try to get whether I'm reading something or watching a podcast or something to try and just refresh my mind and constantly work on my psychology. I feel like having the right psychology is extremely crucial. The discipline is extremely crucial. I'll give you an example. At the start of the year, I went 8-1, okay, and I thought I was on top of the world. I thought I'm him, like I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
I can
yeah.
really do everything. And
100%.
when I went 8-1, I thought there was one day after that, there was one day I couldn't find a single bet, and my psychology went out the window, and I tried to change my system. And long story short, I went on a 5-game losing streak.
No.
So I was like, I gave away all my profits on that eight
Yep.
and one. And that's when I was like, okay, if you're going to start changing things and your discipline's going to go out the window, that's the result you're going to get.
Yep.
So I feel like you've got to have a really good system and your discipline's got to be top notch to really make it in this industry.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's super important too, the consistency and discipline to have it. At some point you just get kind of tired of, what you did wrong. So it's like, what excuses
Yeah,
do you have besides just being mad at yourself? So yeah, I'm glad you're able to kind of like recognize that, learn from it, and then change some things and be able to, get to that, funded payout stage, which is
yeah,
absolutely amazing. And at 21, like, bro, you're so young and you have a lot of ways to go. You use
yeah,
this money, like you said, to build up your own personal account. But I think we both know, you kind of already said it, but until you can get your personal account to a certain level, it doesn't really make as much sense. It's so hard to turn $30 into $100 or even $100 into 1,000, whatever it may be. It's like,
exactly.
yeah, having a way bigger account size, going for smaller, it's not even smaller profits, it's just smaller percentage wise, but you're still making big good gains, which is, the goal.
100%. You can't compare making 1% on $100 account to having $1,000 or 5,000, 10,000. It just doesn't make sense to trade a personal account at the start.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about kind of next steps. This is our first time getting to like kind of meet and interview and stuff. But one thing I always try and say is that I hope this isn't our last interview. I hope that you go and get another payout and we can do another one. Again, you've already been paid out twice, which is absolutely amazing from our firm. And I hope, you get to 5, 10, 20 payouts. We just keep doing interviews and the account sizes keep, building. So I want to ask you, what are some steps or do you have anything in mind of like how you're going to kind of increase maybe account sizes or your bankroll or, any of that?
So when I first found out about the trading firms in the sports industry, it's fairly new. So that's why I got $1,000 account. I'm like, I'm still new to this. Let me just first see if I do get a payout. So I passed phase one, passed phase two, got the payout, and if I'm not mistaken, I think I got the payout the same day. And I was like, okay, this is a little bit too good to be true. Let me just
Yeah.
see it again. So I continued waiting for another month, got a second payout, and that was the start of this month. So now I've taken that money. I'm like, okay, this is legit. They really do pay you out. And now I've got a 5K that's up about like 4% if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3%. And that's what I'm currently working on. And hopefully a payout from there can get me a 10K, maybe a 25, 50K. So we'll see. That's my plan.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, well, I wanted to also ask about that because a lot of people do come in here and are super skeptical about prop firms and stuff because you guys do spend a lot of time trying to pass the phases and then it gets to the funded stage and then you actually get to the payout and you're like, oh, I wonder if all this work is, really worth it. And guess what? you get the payout. I love to hear that you got it so quick after getting funded, which is absolutely amazing. And then right after got a second payout, which is great. And it's only going to continue. You have good discipline. It looks like you have a good system in place. So,
Yeah,
it's just going to be fun to kind of watch your growth over the time. And I hope we have you back on, the interview going over how you made
definitely,
300K.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that's the cool, bro. So I want to ask you maybe some advice for anyone out there who's just getting into sports betting or even just getting into prop firms, really. Like, what advice would you have for them starting out?
So one thing for me that I would say that's extremely crucial for in terms of my success in this industry would be that I'm not emotionally attached to any of the sports. And what I
Hmm.
mean by that is I don't have a favorite team. Yes, I do support certain teams and I do like certain players, but as soon as you bring emotions into it and you start changing certain biases purely because you support a certain team, I think that can cause some difficult times and you can see yourself fail in this industry if you're doing something like that. For example, the soccer. I'm an Arsenal fan. If I had a
Hmm.
bet on Arsenal every weekend, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And like if you had to tell me now, name 10 NFL players, I couldn't do that. But because my system is purely based on the stats and how the teams are performing and so on, and I'm not emotionally attached to those players or I'm not emotionally attached to the teams, I feel like that's extremely crucial is if you don't change your bias purely because you support a team.
Yeah.
Like that's extremely crucial. And then another thing is I want to go back to it is your discipline. You really got to have discipline. Last night was my first time placing two bets on a day. Normally I place one bet a day. Last night I
Hmm.
placed two. Unfortunately, I went 0 and 2. So I just had to remind myself, you know what,
Happens.
this happens. It's part of the industry. You know,
Some of the
tomorrow's a new
probabilities and
day
stuff.
and yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask, why do you only choose 1 to 2 bets a day?
So I feel like so I analyze almost every game on the day, and I'll simply take the best bet. So it doesn't make sense necessarily for me to take the second best. I want to take the best bet that has the highest chance of hitting. Although loss, I do have certain rules whether if two bets are looking really good that meet a certain requirement, I will take two. And last night was the first time this year that I've taken two on one day.
Mm.
I didn't break my rules because out of my requirements it fit the description. So I took
Yeah.
both of them. Both games were looking really good. I took Florida Atlantic plus 11 last night against Memphis. Was looking really good at the start, and then I went back onto the game and the first thing I heard from the commentator, he said they went on an 0 and 14 run and went down, and I was like, this is it's not looking good. And then I took Cleveland State and they were also looking really good. I think they were in the lead for like 27 minutes or something and then blew it at the end. And I was like, oh, it's part of the game and so on. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I want to ask, so, if you were someone starting out, do you think that they should go out and kind of like bet a lot and try to get it like a feel for it or whatever? Or do you think like only taking 1 bet a day is really the way to go?
I think I personally like one bet a day.
Hmm.
Although I do see other people placing one, two, three, four, 10 bets a day. Although I feel like if you just find one really, really good bet that catches your attention and you've created a system and it ticks every single box, stick with that bet and take it. It's your best bet. Stick with your best bet and play that. That's just my advice. But yeah, like I said, I just got rules and that's what I go about is one bet a day.
Yeah, and following your rules is key. That's why that discipline part is, super, super,
Yeah.
super important. Well, I want to ask you, give the people some sauce. For you who has like a system in place for your sports picking, what is like an ideal kind of setup look for you where you're like, oh, this is A plus, like I'm hammering this team.
So if a team has value, it's got to have value. Every single bet of mine must have value. I feel like I do it kind of traditional way. I write down every single game, its value, the probability. So the first thing for me I've got to see is it's got to have value. If it doesn't have value, that's automatically I'm not even writing it down. I'm not even going to look at the game. That's the first thing. The second thing is I like to bet against the public.
Yep.
That for me
I
is
love
what
that.
changed a lot.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
as soon
yeah.
as I started betting against the public, that's when things really took off. And I only started doing it, I think, maybe from the start of the year, and my results were much better so far from January to now compared to during December. As soon as I started fading the public, that's where it took off.
Paid the public. I always say that.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I want to, I was here with my brother and we were speaking about the Super Bowl. And I had two, I didn't do any analysis, I didn't bet on the game, but I had two little like theories I was thinking about. I read an article that Las Vegas was down during the NFL season, the sports book. And that's
Oh,
what I came
wow.
across. And I could be wrong, but I'm sure I read that. And I had to even double check before the game started that I did read that. And my theory was, do I go with the script that everyone's talking about? everyone's saying Chiefs, 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 and I kid you not, every single person on Instagram was just backing the
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yeah, yeah.
But one side of me was saying because Las Vegas is down for the year and Vegas always wins in the long run, I've got to fade the public.
Yep.
And I didn't bet on the game, but it was pretty nice to see that Eagles went and pulled that off.
The analysis
And
worked.
I assume so many people lost money because I know a lot
Yeah.
of people in that Chiefs game.
I personally lost a lot on the Chiefs.
You
I thought it,
see, yeah,
I thought, yeah, I couldn't really tell. I thought it was kind of the opposite. I was like, oh, I think the Eagles, I think everyone wants the Chiefs to lose. So I don't know.
yeah.
Kind of stupid, but
I just
I love that
heard
analysis
the
you
word
did.
script being thrown around. Script, script, script. There's room for the
Yep.
Chiefs. Vegas. The line was set to get so many people
Yeah.
on that Chiefs side, and I knew, nah,
It's
something's not
absolutely
up.
amazing.
Yeah,
Well, I love actually talking to you and you being able to explain a lot of your picks come from statistics and, seeing how teams are performing and if they're going to beat the odds and stuff. Because that's, really what comes down to it. I love how you said you have no emotional attachment to it. It's not like you're just watching and kind of have like an edge of like, oh, I think he's going to win. No, you have stats and actual, data and a system, to
yeah,
back it, which is absolutely amazing. That's what I think show the difference between someone who just bets for fun and someone who's trying to do it professionally. But, I feel like this has obviously been a great conversation. I love to hear that like this is part of your journey is you want to start in these smaller accounts. You're getting these, consistent payouts now, but it's only going to amount to more because it seems like you're super disciplined. You have a good system in place and, the only way is up, just got to keep feeding the
definitely
public.
appreciate
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Do you have any questions or anything? Or actually, I want to ask you, how did you come across the funded sports trader?
I'm pretty sure I came across it on YouTube.
Okay.
I saw someone else before me maybe get a payout, so I scrolled and I saw a video, and that's where I came across it. And then I clicked on the video, watched a video, and I was like, this is quite an opportunity available. Let me check it out, and that's where I came across it. Definitely on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. And then is there any like things that stand out about the funded sports trader that, made you want to use us?
I just want to mention another thing about you guys is the Discord. And I feel like the Discord is really awesome, especially if you're getting started out. It's an opportunity for guys to come in with questions. You get answers from the support team, you get answers from funded guys within the Discord. That's
Mhm.
really cool. So if you're new and you're new to sports betting, definitely check out the Discord. And if you have questions, definitely check it out on there.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, make sure you guys go hit that Discord link. There's an amazing like bunch of sports bettors in there that are all helping each other out, sending what their picks, why they think so and stuff. And it's like if you have any questions, we also have support. We have moderators in there and everything. So make sure you guys are part of that community. The Discord link will be in the description of this video. But I feel like it was a pretty good interview, bro. Is there any final things you want to tell the audience?
I've got nothing, but I just want to say I really appreciate this opportunity. It was awesome speaking with you, and I'd love to work with you guys in the future. And it's really, really excited.
Yeah,
So I
yeah, yeah.
appreciate it.
We hope to work with you too, man. Congratulations on your success so far. Can't wait to get back on and do another payout interview with you very soon. But until then, bro, can't wait to see your, go through your journey. Maybe keep us updated in the Discord and stuff. And people in the comments, maybe go and, tell them good luck and stuff. And, get him back on soon. But thank you for your time, bro. Appreciate you coming on the interview. And that's going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please thank him in the comments for coming on. And also make sure you're subscribed for new payout interviews coming in the meantime, guys. If you guys are looking to get funded in sports betting anywhere from 1,000 all the way up to $300,000, try out the funded sports trader, click that link, go get funded, and you can come do an interview just like this. But we'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe and see you on the next one. Peace out, guys.